All right. I don't have any injuries to update you on right now. The guys are coming in. Obviously, there's some great things we can take from this game and learn from, which we'll do here starting tomorrow when the guys get in here. We all had a piece of it, coaches, players. We've all got to do better. That's part of the things that go on in a loss or a win. You go back through and you evaluate it and make sure that you do the right things. I thought at times we were trying too hard, catching the ball or running the ball and not working our way upfield would be an example of something like that. And at times you can do too much. The penalties, obviously, we're more disciplined than that. We've got to do a better job with the penalties. Way too many. The turnover, I thought, was came at an inopportune time. Not that they ever come at the right times, but when you're working your way down to a potential score position, you can't do that. I thought tackling, we can tackle better. We had a couple of tackles, opportunities for tackles, crucial situations, and you got to take advantage of it. These are things that we can learn from and get better at. I was asked last night about the 4th and 1 call, and that was a play we all felt good about. And all we had to do was, we were one block away from taking care of business there on that, and so we can learn from that too. So, and that's the important thing right now at this time of the year is, very few teams go undefeated. I think we know that. So, it's a time when you can buckle down and learn some things from it, and make yourself a better team for the duration of the season. All's not lost, right? Even though things get magnified in the National Football League, especially when you have a national game like that. A couple of the positives were we were able to get some guys in that normally hadn't had the extended play time with Mo Claiborne and Saunders Colin got an opportunity to jump in there and play. Some on the defensive line, Ben Neiman got extended time there at linebacker, and we had a few guys nicked up, and those guys had, whether they're old but new to the team or young guys, had an opportunity to get some experience and to play. So again, throughout the duration of the season, you're going to need everybody, and we did have a few injuries, and guys worked in there to step up. So, anyways, with that, time's yours.
Andy, you had said a couple weeks ago you thought you guys were getting close defensively. It seems like it's gone the other way in the last couple weeks, particularly last night. What's led to that? What's kind of led you guys to take a step backwards?
Yeah, I think I think you break it down, and there are a couple of 3 plays in there, and some of it came down to the tackling. You saw, the Honey Badgers get a nice interception there, which I thought was a beautiful thing. And but it comes down to plays and certain plays, and so you go back and you evaluate those and make sure guys are in the right position, you're making the right call, and so on. So. We've got to tackle better. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Too many missed tackles there.
There were some missed tackles on some big plays too, 3rd downs and stuff like that. How difficult is it to work on tackling with the way that you have to practice?
Yeah, that's not an excuse. I mean, we work on it, and there's no excuses for it. We've got to do better with it. Again, that's things that we can learn from. There's a time and a place where you come up and you get after a guy. There's a time and a place where you just need to get him on the ground. And situations. That's something we can learn, and these were. I mean, the ones I'm talking about were in pretty big situations where you have an opportunity to potentially get off the field, or at least put them in a 3rd and long situation. And but we'll improve on those things as we go here.
Talking to some of the guys last night, they were saying they didn't feel like it was coaching, it's not scheming that's the issues with the run defense, but just, having pride and having attitude. I mean, is that something that you feel like this group still needs to build?
Yeah, I think it's just more playing together and working it where you're confident in the guy next to you. It's all gap responsibilities there when you're talking about the run game. So it's important everybody trusts everybody and that you get in there when it's live and going and stay aggressive with it, and that comes with playing. And listen, it's everybody. I mean, we're all part of it. It's not players or hesitant. It's we've all got to do our job better, and I'm right in that mix. So but I think from a defensive standpoint, going back to what Adam asked was, we just time helps out some of that as long as you keep the right attitude and you're playing downhill football and you keep the aggressiveness going. So.
Matthew had been so close to making a couple interceptions in some earlier games. That play that he made, was that instincts? Was that design? What was it that allowed him to make that play?
It was a little bit of both, but it was a heck of a play. And you got a chance to see his athletic ability after the catch. Those were ones that he was close on the last couple of weeks. I mean, he had a couple opportunities in the one game there and with the Ravens, and so again, when you look at it, you get into the NFL and there's a small margin between winning and losing. There's also a small margin between making the play and not making the play. So we've got to narrow that down, but that's one of the positives that you take out of the game.
Andy, I know you said on Friday that it's always a hard decision when you're bringing a guy back from suspension and you have to make a move in order for the roster to remain at 53. If the injuries are significant to the guys in the offensive line, is it possible that you guys could bring Jeff Allen back maybe as a pinch for such a situation?
I mean, there's a chance, yeah. I mean, we love Jeff Allen here, so it's not you get into a number crunch, but absolutely, So if that's the way it works, I mean, Brett's looking at all that stuff, but we think the world of Jeff Allen. He's a good player and good person. So.
Patrick's completion percentage is down the last couple of games. He's not throwing picks, but it's down. Is that a reflection of just so many different players that have to in there at wide receiver and tight end?
And he's having to move around a little bit. Yeah. So we got to tighten that up. We got to do a better job up front and again, I mentioned that last night. I can help with some of the calls on that, but we got to do a better job, securing things where he doesn't have to move as much as he's moving unless we call for the move. So we got to tighten that up.
Patrick also mentioned the man-to-man coverage, and then the other teams are rushing forward. That's the second straight game he's done. Obviously, people are going to say there's like a blueprint involved in trying to stop you guys, but the fact that it happens in week 5, does that kind of help you going forward, knowing that you can make the adjustment now against it?
Yeah. So you've got there's a certain attitude that comes with man-to-man that you got to take and present to the defense, and I didn't think we did a great job with that. We can do better there. And then I can do better in giving the guys plays that are better against it. So that's where we all become a part of this thing. It's not one answer. But
Andy, Sean McCoy didn't play a lot last night. Is there something going on with him, or did it have to do with the fumble, or what was going on with him?
Well, he came back in you saw that after the fumble, so that wasn't it. There were a couple little things in there, but we'll get that straight as far as protection of that. But he'll work on that and get that taken care of.
Coach, you had mentioned last night the slow starts over the last 4 games. How much of this is because of Tyreek Hill not here and you're having to adjust how you're calling plays to start off?
Not at all. I mean, that's not that you don't want Tyreek to play. I mean, that can be taken a couple of ways, Herbie. But when you drive right down the field, and then you have a penalty, pressure, those aren't things that are Tyreek Hill related. So he's not causing penalties on the sideline there. So we're shooting ourselves in the foot. And like I told the guys, you figure it out now. We get this thing straightened out, and you're right. You're powerful powerful, explosive offense, whoever's in there. But you can't go backwards. You can't have the turnover. You can't have penalties like we're having them. I mean, that's ridiculous. So we're way better than that, and we've got to take care of it and fix that.
Last night, most people in the stadium didn't see it, but there was a little situation on the sideline with Travis and EB, and they had a little hug afterwards. That was shown on television. What was that situation? You talked to the people involved?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's that. Listen, you see that every week, everywhere. It's football. I mean, it's an emotional environment, and Travis had a couple potential fumbles go on when they held the ball, and so he was mad at himself, and EB got after him a little bit, and then those kind of things happen, but you know, it all worked out all right afterwards. So that happens. You just don't have as many cameras normally as you do on a Sunday night game. But I think if you look around the league, that it's an emotional game. You know, you see grown men up here that have tears in their eyes after games, and so you know that also carries on part on the field. They all want to do good. You know, coaches want them to do good, and then the players want to do good. So it's you know, get emotions involved sometimes.
You mentioned some of the penalties. Bishop Breland had a couple of them. On what you were able to see from the film, is that more him needing to be disciplined, a little unluckiness? Just what did you take away from that?
Yeah, well, you know you got eyes on you. Once you get the first one, you know there are eyes on you. So you gotta stay disciplined with your techniques and fundamentals. And he's been putting together a pretty good year. That got away from him there a little bit with those penalties last night, but he'll get back on board.
Last two will go Sam and then Adam.
Andy, with the type of defenses you're seeing, I know certainly you can scheme things, but how much of it comes down to just beating the guy across from you, or is that a little bit too simplistic?
Well, when it's man-to-man coverage, it comes down to that. You got to put them in the right position as a coach, and then when they're in the right position, then they've got to do that. You know, it is man-to-man. So, and then you got to take care of business up front. So while those guys are out there working for you, trying to get open, you got to make sure that you're sound up front. So it's a combination of everything: the play call, and then the execution by the front and by the receivers.
Last one out.
Andy, what are the chances that Tyreek plays against Houston?
Yeah, I'll know more as we get through this week, Adam. You know, he practiced a little bit last week and moved around pretty good, but again, they've got to make sure everything's stable, and he wasn't being hit last week, so got to make sure everything's stable in there, and they'll work on that this week and see where we're at.